Okay, we're going to do a quick Kaplan Meier. I went through it in the PowerPoint, and I'll give you this data set if you want to run it yourself. We have the raw data here. Here's our variable view. If we look at our value labels, we have censored and then the event here, which is smoking. And then we have the three conditions: hypnotherapy, nicotine, and e-cigarette. And then we have our time variable and our ID variable. So we're just going to go to Analyze. We're going to come down to Survival and go across to Kaplan Meier. I have everything. Let me reset. If I right click, I can say Display Variable Name. I'm going to put Time in the Time variable. I'm going to put Status in the Status, and we'll come back and define it. I'm going to put the intervention in the factor, and I'm going to ID the label. Label cases by ID. Alright, the first thing I want to do is click back on status and define my event. So I'm going to tell it that when I have a 1, that means the person started smoking again. I'm going to go to compare factor. I'm going to click log rank, and it auto-populates pooled over strata, which is what I want. I'm going to say continue. I'm going to go to options. I'm going to add a plot for survival. I'm going to say continue. And then I'm going to say OK. And I get my output, but I'm not going to even look at it yet. I'm going to go straight back to Kaplan Meier. I'm going to go back to compare factor. I leave the log ranked, and I'm just going to click pairwise comparisons. Pairwise over strata, which will give us those pairwise comparisons, and then I just leave everything else. We'll get the same output, but that's fine. I'll say OK. Alright, now the first thing I say in the PowerPoint is let's look at our graph, and we can see, what we saw before was that the hypnotherapy program did the best, then the nicotine patch, then last the survival time. This big survival table tells me that in the hypnotherapy program, it took 1 week for this person, number 50, to start smoking again. It took 2 weeks for number 48 to start smoking again, and so forth. The same for the nicotine patch intervention and the e-cigarette intervention. Alright. And then we come in, we can see the means and medians for survival time, and you can see that the people went the longest in hypnotherapy, second longest in nicotine, third longest in e-cigarette. This omnibus overall comparison says yes, there is a significant difference among these three interventions. We see that highly significant. And then we come down, we scroll down, we'll have that same table, we don't need it again. And then here's our pairwise comparison. So we have hypnotherapy versus nicotine patch, which was significant, hypnotherapy versus e-cigarette, which is significant, and then we'll just come down to nicotine and e-cigarette, which was not significant. And that is how you do it.